Hello there, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Strategic Zoomcast. In this game, we're going to see an absolute incredible level of competition. And do you know why we're going to see that? Because both players uploaded the replay. It's a long game on Longraskaya, which lends itself to long games, even with the newly widened VP points, which make them more accessible. And it's featuring two pretty damn good players. We've got Wake the Sheeple, who is our Soviet player. We'll call him Sheeple from now on. This is his player card. And his opponent, Gentle Fox, is top 3 OKW. They both uploaded the replay, which is a rarity on Code2.org replay section, which, to me, I don't know who wins, because usually when somebody uploads the replay, you get a very good idea as to who's won that game. So in this game, I have absolutely no idea. Also, I have to say, with this atmospheric setting, Longraskaya looks absolutely beautiful. Look at that. It's got this weird rim around it that I'm not too sure on, but yeah, it looks gorgeous, wouldn't you say? It's like it's flourished. So like it's got a little bit more of a flowery appeal. Straight away with the OKW player, he's just going for a Volks build. We've got a combat engineer straight into this very important house in that it's so close to the newly replaced victory point and the fuel. Interesting to note about this house, it is something that a lot of players rush for, but if you're against a good Wehrmacht player, I know this player is an OKW player, so it's highly irrelevant in this particular situation. If you're against a good Wehrmacht player, they often will just ignore the fact you've taken this house and try to secure your area. Go straight up this centre, put their MG with its back to this large shot blocker, face this territory point, the cut-off, in fact, for the northern player, and just completely cut you off. Well, back to the actual game at hand. Gentle Fox is utterly... he's going to go for it, because he's top 3 OKW. This guy is going to be one cocky motherfucker. In fact, he chose Luftwaffe straight away. He's got his... the way he plays down to a T. I didn't mean cocky. What I meant is he's got a confidence in abundance, because he has top 5 on the rankings. He's got a system that works for him, and it's rare that he gets challenged to the amount that Sheeple is going to challenge him. Because in this game we are going to see this guy get pushed to his limits. I don't know who wins. This isn't me going through the motions. Literally, both players uploaded the replay. It's impossible for me to know who wins. Straight away, Battle Group Headquarters on the cut-off for the OKW player. That is a classic OKW player positioning there. Let me get a nice camera angle that suits all the engagements going on at once. We did see the incendiary grenade pushing away that conscript from the western stronghouse. This is the eastern stronghouse there. That's how we refer to those houses from now on. We see the Stern Pioneers in good health. If it's within the first 5 minutes of the game, if these guys are in good health, they're forced to be contended with, and they can push bully squads around. You may notice that I am a little bit on edge in this cast. It's because I've just come home from work, so I'm knackered. However, I did just have quite a large whiskey coke. That's Coke as in, Diet Coke. And I did that because I fancied it. I've had a horrible day in the office, and I'd love nothing better than to cast a fantastic game. It's really made me excited to see this replay on Code2.org's replay section today. I just couldn't think what I was doing on a Wednesday evening. I've got plans elsewhere in the week, but this was my dead week evening that I had nothing to do, and now I've got this game to watch. I'm excited. That's not a bad situation. So obviously why he's gone for Luftwaffe. It's so he can get his MG34 straight out. So that's already reaping dividends. I mean, this newly widened... So this thing originally wasn't even existent. Then it became like 10 centimeters dilated. Now it's a gaping chasm. In fact, this shot-blocking hedge is... I actually really like it, I must be honest. I like the new formation. In terms of... We've got a one-man conscript squad nearly going down there. In terms of the overall build, it's now focused around this combat engineer with the flamer that's in base for the Soviet player. Obviously, for the OKW, it is mainly to do with that MG34. I have seen a lot of quick Jagdpanzer 4s in the game recently. The date, by the way, let me just try and focus in on my clock, is, I think it's the 27th today, so we're really close to the 29th patch that's coming in soon. Oh, my phone's just here. It's the 28th today, so the patch is coming tomorrow. However, he is building an ISG. Now, ISGs aren't going to be completely deficient in the new patch. They are going to have a firing arc nerf. They can't fire below 35 degrees, so no, not so much, you know, smashing squads in their immediate epicenter. They are going to have a slight suppression buff, and the biggest, nerf, and the biggest nerf they're going to suffer is the fact that they can no longer autoface. You have to micro them. So the fact that, let me zoom out a little bit because I have that luxury. The reason that it doesn't matter so much to these top players is the fact that, you know, Gentle Fox is going to have to manually select his ISG and focus it at squads. Possibly could even improve his usage, because this guy, that barbed wire from the conscripts is now coming in use, but obviously this green haystack's still available. And just talking about green cover, the conscripts are putting one down on this northern set, so that will help them when the MG34 comes into play. In the west, we've now got a demo, so let's try and keep our eyes on that demo. So the Soviets have got both fuels, it must be noted at this point, and OKW are rather pushed back. Here we go, though, the ultimate in stopping your opponent dead in its tracks, the ISG. That's in the first 15 minutes of the game. The ISG is in play. I've lost my train of thought with regards to my earlier point. I'm sure you probably got the gist of what I was going to say anyway. God, that conscript's got low health. I hope he's got med healing. We do have field infirmary selected for 250 manpower. Not bad. Don't have anything building currently, so this is now the what I like to call the climax of the early game. Both players are capped for, not capped, but bottlenecked for all their resources, and they are truly left with everything they have on the field to throw at each other and to use as efficiently as they possibly can. So this is like the late game of the early game, if that makes sense. The next transition will be into medium armor, and the choices they make will be crucial. So this is a rather largely important stage of the game. Here we go, this green cover will be becoming important. We've got the Maxim now bearing down, so that confirms T2 has been chosen. We'll most likely be seeing as mortar and as this, I would imagine, on Longroskaya. Interesting to note, Longros was one of the only maps in Company of Heroes 1 that warranted mortar usage. In Company of Heroes 1 you barely ever saw mortars. It was one of the great things about Company of Heroes 2 that's brought in, is mortars originally were extremely overpowered. But now they are just used, and that's great. A good flank coming in. We have got Molotov package enabled. Since we last focused on the headquarters, that is a new development. The MG34 Gentle Fox showing his pedigree. He does reposition before even the conscripts come to bear. The Shrek'd up Volksgrenadiers are in a little bit of peril, but they do make their way out of it. The ISG, all the while, is absolutely nullifying the Maxim heavy machine gun. It can't do diddly squat when it's suppressed as much as it currently is, well, pinned rather. And allow me to very quickly zoom out, select some troops for the Soviets whilst I drink the rest of my whiskey coke, if that's okay. I've noticed we're 9 minutes in, so we've got a hell of a long way to go, so I need my blood alcohol level to stop the Stern Pioneers from flanking. That's what my blood alcohol level is going to do. Good repositioning from the Sheeple's Maxim there. ISG's got something to say about it. Let's keep this thing hotkeyed on 1, because it's going to be a kill machine. Oh god, just as I say that, the Maxim takes a hit, and the conscripts get suppressed. Note, for new players, so existing players, please phase out. There is a difference between suppressed and pinned. Suppressed is when they have a yellow icon, and that indicates that they have a low degree of movement and actually have a temporary received accuracy buff. When they get pinned, that is a red notification. They go back to normal damage received and are extremely vulnerable to fire. So if you're keeping them suppressed whilst you wait for some backup, that's fine, but as soon as they get pinned you need to hit retreat. We've got 2 demos, one there, one went off here earlier. Sorry I missed that. I am unfortunately focusing on the centre rather a lot, so I'll have to keep my eyes out for the west of the map, see what's happening over there. In terms of teching, the Soviet player is still rather largely engaged in what he already has. ISG's refaced to the east of its own volition. Well, that will not be the same way after the patch. It'll have to be manually faced to face the east. Oh, sorry, bad camera work there. So the MG34 was doing well, 7 kills. The conscripts now going to try and repeat their trick from earlier. Maybe the MG34 won't react in time for this Molotov, and it would be an excellent steal. An MG34, by the way, with a 6-man crew is always a danger. Fortunately for Gentle Fox, he does manage to get it out of there. Great work. In the west, the Stern Pioneers have been pushing off a Minesweeper combat engineer. That's always going to be the case. And it should be noted at this point, the Soviets will have a lot of fuel. In fact, oh my god, they've just built something. They've gone for an Su-76 first. Interesting decision. Not sure I wouldn't have gone for the T-70, because, you know, an Su-76, although it does have the light artillery barrage, its anti-infantry overall is nowhere near as good as a T-70. So, if your opponent doesn't quite have the armour presence on the field to counter, what's the point? I ask you, what is the point? Let's do some more camera work, because I feel like I've just been looking at that middle victory point. And Longoskaya is one of those maps that does focus itself rather largely on that middle victory point. With the map changes, they did try and bring in... Here it comes. Now let's pretend this is Operation Charlie Fox. You ready for this? On my Polizei Funk mode, engaged! Sorry, I lost what I was looking at. My bad, I failed miserably. The Su-76 actually diverted into the base away from the road, and I lost my target. I'm sorry about that, guys. So that's what can happen sometimes. I'm sorry if you have nausea after that, you know, just stop watching the video. That's all I can recommend at this point. Vet 2 conscripts suffering. Their model health is rather low. And he's now got every single upgrade, so that's 250 manpower spent on field infirmary. Oh! Demo! Beautiful. And the corpses writhe in agony. Before that explosion, I was going on about how much the Soviet player had wasted, how much Sheeple had wasted on using all 3 of his structures. You know, he's going to be... Obviously, he had a lot of fuel presence all game, so that point is completely nullified by fuel presence, let's be honest. I was going to go, oh, he spent this fuel, but he has had this high fuel point here for nearly the entirety of the first 13 minutes of the game. In fact, I don't think it's been questioned. He's not been cut off once. So the fact that he's now got all 3 upgrades is great. He's got 4 conscripts, all of which have veterancy 2, if you look in the top left corner of your screen. So he's got a very good fighting force. His opponent, however, has lost a Volksgrenadier to that recent demo. Stern Pioneers have the Minesweeper upgrade. It's only the ISG that's of a significant presence. That is, of course, forgetting about the MG34. Talking about the ISG, that's taking a pounding right now. He's focus firing that. However, with the battle group headquarters nearby, he is going to stop that thing getting wiped. But all the conscripts are coming to bear. Vet 2 conscripts for the uninformed do get advanced rifle training, improving weapon accuracy, says the tooltip. Good Molotov off there. Unfortunately, the battle group headquarters is already reinforcing and healing that particular squad, so it could be deemed a waste. Not the best idea to rush an Su-76 at the Schwerpanzer headquarters. He's going to retreat the hell out of there. And we're back to a lull in activity. Let's have a little zoom out. I'm sorry if this removes you from the game, but there we go. There's how the OKW player is currently focused. And you'll notice that's how the not the conscript player, well, he is a conscript player, isn't he? How the Russian Soviet player is currently focused. He is currently building a ZIS to add to his anti-armor deterrence. And I'm sure that'll work out very well for him. He is currently in a prepared position, which is Oh god, another demo. This is the third demo. I've missed one. I nearly missed the second one by talking over it. I am happy to see what might happen with this third. And it looks like Gentle Fox is onto his opponent. Must be said, he did a little divert there. He saw that the combat engineer squad was watching over it. Maybe that's why he did a little dance. I mean, hopefully for his sake he misses that. We've already seen one squad wipe to demos. ISG fire coming in. Look at the range on this thing. It's absolutely unreal, and that is going to have to retreat there. Here comes light artillery barrage. He's peppering this road area. Possibly mine sweeping. That's interesting. He let the demo go. He just popped it. As soon as he saw that the Stern Pioneers with the Minesweeper had seen it, he just popped it, you know. Or perhaps... Hang on. Let me just check something. Yeah, these guys don't have frag grenades anymore, so they can't as quickly detonate mines as they might well have used to have done for a waste of munitions. In the west, let's focus on an engagement in the west. I have failed to do so all game. Let's treat ourselves, even with strategic zoom. And the ISG means that the OKW player wins. No micro needed. The ISG Automobot wins the engagement for you. Schwerpanzer headquarters raining fire on the retreating conscripts. The Vets 2 Stern Pioneer squad is going to put some pressure on. But they are under some serious danger of being on fire, having an anti-armor piece raining fire on you. Here we go. Yeah, very quickly reacted to by Sheeple. You can see why he takes this top 5 OKW player to the limit in this game. His micro is on form in this particular match. If this was Company Heroes 1 or pre-Battle Server Company Heroes 2, I would say he had host, but that's not the case anymore. Nobody has host in this game. It is simply a matter of data packages being managed by a server in Vancouver. So if you're in Oceania, you're gonna suffer. Jagdpanzer comes to bear. It's facing the Su-76 isn't. Oh, this is going to give some good covering fire. And in fact, the Su-76 gets the better of that engagement. This field of view is brought to you by Strategic Zoomcast. Subscribe to Strategic Zoomcast for a better overview of the battlefield. God, I'm getting a little bit tipsy off that whiskey. Who would have thought, eh? Let's treat ourselves to an Eastern engagement. Pretty decent. If they can focus fire the combat engineer with the flamer sufficiently, it is a fair engagement, this, and they have done. It's now down to 2 health. Stern Pioneer does advance. The conscript is going to be backed up by a Maxim, however, so the parity is kept. And I'm going to assume that Gentle Fox has to retreat from that engagement. In fact, he does. Back to the centre. Stern Pioneers are now completing the sandbag. No, they're not. No, they're not doing anything. They're just capping. Su-76 go ahead. Has 1 kill. It was meant as an anti-armor deterrent. However, knowing that OKW currently go pretty damn much for Jagdpanzer 4s, not sure that was the best decision. Unless he was expecting a Lux. And of course, we did see the Schwerpanzer headquarters, so a Lux could have been expected. Good mine coming down there. A Molotov was missed here. And the MG34 is making great usage of the Gaping Chasm. Your mum's vagina, otherwise known as. Light artillery barrage does nothing. It acts as a deterrent only, which is pretty much the main usage for a light artillery barrage. Boom! And the Jagdpanzer 4 belies Gentle Fox's high rank by attacking ground through the shot blocking hedge of Longraskaya. You can tell when the players are good when they have the innovation and the foresight and the knowledge to attack ground through a hedge. It is one of those things that as a mid-level to, you know, like a 100 rank to 700 rank, you might not think to do, but below 100 you tend to think to do. From my knowledge of the game, that's the case anyway. Going to talk about the map dominance of the OKW player. They do have the vast majority of the map. However, the Soviets are poised to make a push on the west, focusing this Volksgrenadier with a Shrek. They're going to force him away. They were capped on their... I think this marks the first time in the game they have lost the high fuel point, and that is shown if you look at this portion of your screen by sorry about the camera work, by the Sheeple's current... In fact, he just built a Katusha and he still has 144 fuel. That's the point I'm trying to make. This guy has had this fuel point for nearly the entirety of the game. Fallschirmjäger's deployed. I do believe this is the first Fallschirmjäger squad. Yes, it is, noted by the 3 kill count on that squad. Is going to act as what they are, and that is a flank denying unit. I call them that. Of course, they can kill things on a retreat, and that is one of the great uses of Fallschirmjägers. However, God, here we go. The Maxim with Veterans 2 has now lost it. LOL, called by Sheeple. I think that denotes the fact that it failed to retreat. There was barbed wire behind it, but it was probably a glitch or just a inconsistency in the coding. ISG comes to bear on the conscripts, and fortunately for Sheeple, I know his Maxim just spazzed out, but fortunately for him, he's not quite getting any suppression off the ISG at the moment. Perhaps that is due to stay on their toes to remain sharp, increase mobility and weapon accuracy. I'm not sure that's a Vet 3 perk. They do get suppressed eventually. I'm pretty damn sure that conscripts do enjoy Katusha range and fire. Oh, good shot on the battlefield headquarters. The Katusha is on no kills. What? What? I assumed by that barrage and by the way it landed, it would have at least gotten 1 kill, but no. The Katusha is still on 0 kills. First barrage. He waited for the retreat as well. I'm sure Katushas have been nerfed a little bit too much. There was a patch in early 2015 at least, so this year, where they were very powerful. Something happened, I'm sure. They just seem very weak. Very weak at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on the Katusha for you, but yeah, I can't promise we're going to be seeing like them racking up the kills or anything. It just doesn't seem likely. We have got a good flank by 2 high DPS units going north of the shot blocking edge of Longerskaya. Going straight for the Zisgun. They are going to get met by a Vet 3 conscript currently in red cover and the minesweeping combat engineer. This Flamer combat engineer is under the Kosh. And that conscript is going to retreat. The Flamer combat engineer is going to retreat. The Lux is coming up. Its impact is immediately diminished by the fact that all the squads it could have chased on retreat already had retreated. Unlucky. Further south, conscripts are pushing. Now. It's 23 minutes. We know it's a long game. We know we're in for the long haul with this baby. Who do we think's going to win? Who do we think's going to win? I'm going to say anything can happen. You've got interesting... Oh, God. Good engagement in the north here. SU-76 attacking the Lux through the hedges. A gun crew is lost, which means, again, the Maxim was wiped by, this time, the incendiary grenade of this Volksgrenadier squad. Good pressure from the conscripts. They wiped the ISG, removing the veterancy on that little bugger. All the while, some pressure is being put on the cut-off again from the Fallschirmjägers. The Zis, in fact, is going to have to retreat quickly. Here we go. We've got a Katusha barrage. Could be more successful this time. It is at rather a large range, so the spread pattern is quite spread, as you'd expect from a spread pattern. Vet 3 Volksgrenadier is nearly going down. 1 lucky rocket, but look at the spread on that thing. Within that box, you can expect a rocket to land. It's just too large. Here we go, though. IS-2. So the obviously the commander chosen for Sheeple is shock rifle frontline tactics. For October, at least, this has been the most popular commander in the game overall. Besides possibly the American flamethrower, whatever, elite infantry. I can't remember names of bloody commanders. The flamethrower rifleman doctrine. That is how I remember names of things. I just remember the most prominent aspects of it. The only way I get away with it in casting, you must have noticed by this point, having watched at least 25 minutes of me talking, is I click on the thing, then read it. Wish more casters learnt that, because the amount of time you see people get names wrong and that all they had to do was click on it and read, you know, come on. That's, you know, that's not against all casters, only a few do suffer for that reason. So yeah, let's see the lie of the land. We've got the Luxon on 2 kills. It's been pretty impotent. It could have done with some Viagra. I mean, this thing came on the field. It's usually a all-star unit. It usually really comes to bear upon whoever it's unleashed on. However, in this game, it has 2 kills. What gives? And I blame the fact that, here we go, airborne assault, already up to 17 command points, only 26 minutes into the game. Airborne assault. Sync error detected? I don't feel like there's a sync error. I think we're fine. This does not, to me, feel like a sync error. In fact, we are now going to have the rest of this game with a sync error detected, and that's utterly odd to me. In fact, let me pause and we'll get up to 26 minutes.